Good morning, everyone. A CBS News investigation into the booming sales of illegal drugs on social media found that teenagers can easily get their hands on narcotics, including fake pills laced with fentanyl, and the consequences can be deadly. The United States, for the first time, just had more than 100,000 fatal overdoses in a 12-month period. CBS's Tom Hansen has more on this story.
Chase was wise beyond his years. He was passionate, he was curious.
Last winter, Megan McIntosh found her 18-year-old son Chase unconscious after experimenting with pills. She turned to his Snapchat account for answers.
Big bags of pills, mushrooms. I felt really helpless when I saw how prevalent it was.
Just over 1 month later, he died, likely from a fake pill laced with fentanyl from an unknown source.
If you could talk to Chase today, what would you say to him?
Oh, I love you. You have no idea how much I love you.
Kathleen Miles, with the Center on Illicit Networks and Transnational Organized Crime, says the drug trade is booming on social media. And with fentanyl in high circulation, the risks are often deadly.
If I'm starting a new account and I'm a teenager, how many degrees away from a drug dealer am I?
In my experience, 2.
CBS News asked Miles to create 2 fake profiles across Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok, claiming they were 18 but publicly identifying as high school students. One was actively searching for drugs.
I just messaged, hey, do you have Xanax?
And within just 48 hours, found an apparent dealer. The second account used different hashtags like
Depression, sad, anxiety.
While all 3 platforms provided some mental health resources, posts about marijuana and cigarettes also appeared on Instagram.
By the 3rd day on Instagram, we were fully immersed into drug culture.
Who bears the responsibility?
It's the tech companies. Since they aren't liable, they're not creating the guardrails needed to keep our kids safe.
Guardrails that McIntosh says need to start at home.
If you can approach your kid in this kind of like soul way, like let's have an honest conversation about why, how, and what we need to do as a family to keep you safe.
Millions of Americans own gas-powered lawnmowers, but that could be changing. One state is making the switch to electric mowers and experts believe other states could eventually do the same thing. Anthony Pura explains more on that.
David Hernandez is with Sod and Turf Pros in Los Angeles and has used gas-powered equipment for years. He understands electric tools are the future, but there are pros and cons.
You won't be having all that gas up in your nose, be inhaling it, because I mean, I've been there, I've done that.
One trade-off is usage time. He bought an electric leaf blower, but has to operate it sparingly.
It doesn't last as long, right? So we use a battery, it only lasts me like 20, 30 minutes. And then after that, I have to go charge it.
Homeowners are snatching up e-powered products, but it's a harder transition for lawn care companies running lots of devices all day. Governor Gavin Newsom signed a bill into law making California the first state to ban the sale of gas-powered lawn equipment by 2024 in an effort to curb emissions. Lawmakers supporting the ban say the gas-powered equipment produces high levels of pollutants that impact human health, emissions that can lead to lung cancer, heart disease, and respiratory problems. According to the California Air Resources Board, using a commercial gas-powered lawnmower for an hour creates the same amount of smog-forming pollution as driving a car 300 miles from Los Angeles to Las Vegas. USC environmental law professor Robin Craig says other states could follow.
We'll see how manufacturers react. I think the easier that manufacturers make it for other states to adopt the same sort of ban, the more states will do it.
Hernandez and consumers can still use their gas-powered lawnmowers in 2024, but any brand new equipment purchased will have to be electric. Anthony Pura, CBS News, Los Angeles.
During the pandemic, we've seen shortages of everything from cars to paper towels. Now, companies are having difficulty getting their hands on the material needed to make gravestones. Naomi Ruckham explains.
Supreme Memorials in Brooklyn, New York has been creating headstones for 70 years.
Has this been the biggest challenge you faced?
Me personally, yes.
Co-owner Michael Casera says before the pandemic, it would take about 3 months to customize a stone. Now it's up to 6 months.
This is the material right now that there's a real shortage in my industry. This is the rubber stencil.
Rubber stencil is used to create the template that's later sandblasted into the stone.
One of the major suppliers just said they're closing their whole division of making it. And so this is going to be a problem that's going to be going forward.
Many companies are also having trouble getting the granite needed for headstones.
The same worker and trucking shortages impacting all sections of the economy are slowing down the delivery of granite. Schultz Monument Company in Tennessee is also having trouble getting bronze markers, and the delays often vary.
The information that we're getting from our suppliers sometimes is not always accurate. So then when I pass that on to my customer, my customer rightfully gets frustrated.
Adding to the challenges, the cost of materials is also on the rise, and Casera says these issues aren't going to end anytime soon.
How long do you anticipate these delays lasting?
I see it going into the summer of next year.
And those delays are being felt by grieving families trying to say goodbye to a loved one. Naomi Ruckham, CBS News, Brooklyn, New York.
When we come back, how a lifetime of collecting brings art to a new generation. Mid-morning, we'll be right back. All right, we're back. Art collectors Don and Mira Rubel not only opened their own museum, but helped transform a Miami neighborhood into one of the leading art districts in the country. Michelle Miller gives us a look.
We are obsessed. I confess, we are crazy. Crazy obsessed.
No, you're crazy. I'm just obsessed.
Don and Mira Rubel's obsession for art has not only sustained their marriage,
57 years, these two,
but birthed all of this and more.
It is huge.
A cacophony of celebrated contemporary artists under their roof. Jean-Michel Basquiat, Keith Haring, and Cindy Sherman. Not to mention exhibitions by an emerging class, Reginald O'Neill and Natalie Ball, now on display, the source of acquisitions early on.
We come to an artist so early that we have a chance to really get to know the artist.
You're looking at work, you're seeing that at the beginning of a career. And so you have to develop a sense of faith in the artists themselves.
Described as possessing a keen eye for emerging talent and ranked among the world's top 200 art collectors, the Rubels are credited with having the Midas touch.
I'm trying to think whether Midas died or not at the end of the story. The whole thing is we never consider what the value will be of art. And I think that, if anything, that what we do best is we just look at the art, and if it's exciting.
Their collection of over 7,000 works of art started from humble beginnings.
Don was a medical student and I was teaching at Head Start.
On the streets of Chelsea, New York in 1964.
We fell into an artist. He said, "Why don't you buy something?" I said, "You got to be kidding. I'm earning $100 a week and Don is in medical school." And he said, "Well, what can you afford?" And I jokingly said, "Well, 5%, which was $5 a week." And he said, "That's a deal."
So essentially, it's an extended layaway plan.
It's a layaway plan.
Persuading artists to let them pay in installments helped the couple kickstart their collection on a tight budget.
We've amassed amazing masterpieces.
Yes.
And it's called Long Journeys, Small Steps for many years.
Their acquisitions have been informed by their years of travel to museums and galleries around the world, along with managing a family hotel business. A visit to Switzerland in 1979 introduced them to Art Basel. They'd helped bring the expo to Miami Beach some 23 years later.
It is important to us that other people see the work. We're going to have 10,000 visitors in this space.
Artists don't just exhibit here, they work here. They've set up a residency that remained open even during the pandemic, with Kennedy Yanko, their first sculptor.
It was a dream come true. I had over 30,000 square feet to work in. I got to get things out of me that I'd wanted to do for such a long time.
But it's about skin and what a skin does to the material.
While their gallery is vast, these mega collectors promise anyone can do it.
You can do what we've done in the last 57 years, starting today.
Me.
You.
You.
Anybody.
Anybody. If you want to be doing what we do, you can't be looking for something. You have to find it. You know what I mean? The thing is happening. You have to
discover it.
You have to discover it.
Michelle Miller, CBS News, New York.
Coming up, when disaster strikes, one father and daughter hit the road to help. This story, you're going to love it. It's coming up next. All right, welcome back. We have another in the series, A More Perfect Union. It aims to show that what unites us as Americans is far greater than what divides us. This morning, we're sharing with you the story of a father and his young daughter who teamed up to provide temporary shelter for people who've lost almost everything. Jamie Wax shows us how the dad and daughter are helping rebuild communities and connecting with each other.
Should we get a snack, or are you doing okay?
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
I don't know.
Some healthy vegetarian gas station options?
Yeah.
Woody Faircloth and his 9-year-old daughter Luna are getting used to life on the road.
Look at how beautiful this is. It really is pretty.
For the last 3 years, they've been taking special trips to deliver RVs to families who've lost homes in wildfires. It's a mission they began after watching news of the deadly 2018 Camp Fire in California.
I turned to Luna, who was 6 at the time. She had no front teeth. And I said, Luna, why don't we get an RV and we'll drive it to California and give it to a family so they have a place to call home for Thanksgiving.
Luna, you said something very special right then at that Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I said, Dad, God, and Santa Claus are going to be very proud of us.
And do you feel like God and Santa Claus are very proud of you?
Yes.
Faircloth began looking for RV donors and was amazed by how many people wanted to help with unwanted RVs or their time.
We have volunteers all over the country that have helped us. We have people right now that are answering emails and processing paperwork for these donations. I mean, it's just raise your hand and say, hey, I'd like to help. They can come home and make a home-cooked meal. And
Dad and daughter have personally delivered about 20 RVs to folks in need, mostly firefighters, first responders, and veterans. And he's helped arrange around 100 donations in all. But it's also been an opportunity to teach his daughter.
Oh, look at the palm trees.
Everywhere along their trips are reminders of the cost of these fires.
Look at the ground, how it's just ash.
And they've developed a stronger bond.
It's been really special for the two of us just to be able to spend that time together and to make a difference, just so she knows that it's not just about her and it's not just about me, it's about the people that we're helping. And we're blessed.
Oh my gosh, it's so bumpy.
We joined them on a trip from Denver to Redding, California.
All right, now we're really in the home stretch.
Dun, 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 dun.
They were there to deliver a new home.
That's beautiful.
To Don George, a firefighter who lost nearly everything when his own home burned in the Fawn Fire this past September, while he was helping to save others' homes.
I went to the crew and I go, hey, I got to go check on my house, and it was already too late. My son says, I don't know how to tell you. But he just couldn't even talk. He didn't know how to say it. Go on.
George has been fighting fires for nearly 50 years. He's used to being the one doing the rescuing.
That's your co-pilot?
His role changed when the Cloths arrived.
I got keys for you.
Thank you.
I got a title for you.
When we visited George a few weeks later,
Let's look at the crown molding and everything. It's just absolutely gorgeous.
He'd received a second donated RV so that his adult sons who lived with their parents could also have a place to live.
All I can say is thank God for Woody. You couldn't ask for a better man. He came just exactly the right time for me, renewed my faith in mankind. Man, if there was more people like that, we'd have a beautiful world.
All these families we feel like they're part of our family now, and we stay in touch and we hear their stories and share their successes.
You continue to be a community.
Absolutely.
And the experience has also helped a little girl grow wise beyond her years.
What makes you most proud?
That I've made a really big change in the world for a lot of people.
Do you want people to see this and decide, children and adults, that they can do the same thing?
Yes.
What can we all do to help make that happen?
Just be nicer to each other.
Graham Nash is best known as a music man, but he says his real passion is something completely different. That story is next. Welcome back. Crosby, Stills, and Nash's rise to fame with the addition of Neil Young and all the subsequent turbulence have been well documented, but we're now seeing photographs of some of their most intimate moments over the years captured by band member Graham Nash. He's out with a new book of photography, A Life in Focus, about his life and career. He met up with Anthony Mason in his New York City neighborhood to talk about being behind the camera.
What do you look for when you're taking pictures?
Everything. I'm looking at everything. You never know where it is.
I am a simple man.
Graham Nash can find it on any street corner of New York City, his home for the past 7 years.
Once you live here and you realize what is actually going on, it's a fantastic city.
Yeah. And it's a feast for the eyes.
Yeah, look at it. Can you believe this? Look at this.
What is that pleasure you get when you take a great photograph?
Something I found that nobody else found.
So you're collecting feelings.
Yes, and nailing them down. I'm doing the same with my music.
Our house is a very, very, very fine house.
His musical friends have often been his subjects. Stephen Stills, Neil Young, Bonnie Raitt, Joni Mitchell.
What's happening here?
She's listening to a test pressing of Clouds. And in an effort to be invisible, I shot it through the hole in the kitchen chair.
These are your first photographs?
These are 4 of the very first photographs I ever took in my life.
At the zoo in Manchester, England.
I'm only like 10 years old here. That's why I'm looking way up at that giraffe like that, but you know.
I have to say, these show a lot of promise, even at 10.
One day a friend took me aside.
He caught the bug from his father, who would turn young Graham's bedroom into a dark room.
He would put a blank sheet of paper into a colorless liquid and say, okay, wait. Okay, Dad, what? Wait. Okay, what's good? And then I saw an image come into view from nothing, and it changed my life.
Yeah, pretty mind-blowing.
Oh, it was magic.
Yeah.
I've been a photographer longer than I've been a musician.
But his father's gift came at a cost.
The camera that he gave me that started my love of photography had been stolen. He bought it from a friend of his at work.
He didn't know it was stolen?
No.
His father wouldn't give up the name of the friend who sold it to him to the police.
And so they put him in jail for a year, and he died at 47.
Wow. You said in the book basically it broke him.
There's no question about it.
Every picture you make now is a tribute to your father?
It is. As every song that I sing is a tribute to the Cass Elliot. Cass Elliot from the Mamas and Papas.
This is dedicated to the one I love.
There's a wonderful picture of Cass in the book.
Yeah, she's on the phone to Crosby right now.
It was Elliot who introduced Nash to David Crosby, who then introduced him to Stephen Stills.
I think she understood in her mind what CSN would sound like singing together.
Wordlessly watching, he waits by the window and wonders.
One of the book's most poignant pictures is a shot of Crosby in New York's Chelsea Hotel, soon after his girlfriend had died in a car accident.
And I saw him at the end of that hall looking out of the window, and I realized what I thought he was thinking. He was thinking of jumping.
He told you that?
Yes, he did, yeah. David's a beautiful man, you know, and I've taken many pictures of him.
But after CSN's last concert in 2015, Crosby and Nash had a massive falling out.
You guys aren't speaking right now, so I was a little surprised to see so many pictures of him in this book.
I have to take my personal feelings out and let the photographs speak for themselves.
Yeah. So there's no message to him in any way?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
No.
so it goes.
This photo captured Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young in Maui together.
Rehearsing an album called Human Highway that never got made. Anyway, on the last day, I realized that if we were going to make an album, we needed a cover.
He borrowed Stills' camera, set the scene, the exposure, and had a friend snap the picture.
So there's only one shot.
Yeah.
This is it.
Of the album cover of the album that didn't get made.
That didn't get made.
So it goes.
I love to bring joy.
Is that what you get out of it?
Yeah, tremendous peace too.
How do they give you peace?
They don't talk back to me. They don't have an opinion. It's a peaceful place only for me.
Some of Nash's most intriguing images are self-portraits, which can include his wife, the artist Amy Grantham.
I love this woman.
And I love the picture of her painting in the bathtub.
Oh, yes, yes. Well, you know, I've realized that in New York City, every square inch is very, very valuable.
Yeah.
You know, that's why Amy is painting while she's sitting in the bath.
Just a song before I go.
This is not really a side project for you. It's always got a big place in your heart.
Yes, always. You know, I'm still waiting for Elvis to come back on the back of an elephant. You know, I'll be there with my camera waiting, you know. Come on, show it to me.
Anthony Mason, CBS News, New York.
All right, stay with us. We'll be back to wrap things up. All right, be sure you stay connected with us. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We'll see you back here next time.